A federal appeals court handed President Donald Trump a major legal victory by upholding his administration's policy of detaining large numbers of immigrants without bond hearings while their deportation cases proceed. Notably, the decision reversed two lower court rulings and broke from the conclusions reached by many federal judges who had found the policy unlawful. In a 2-1 decision, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the Trump administration lawfully reinterpreted federal immigration statutes to require mandatory detention for many people arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE). The court concluded that individuals who entered the U.S. unlawfully can be treated as applicants for admission, a classification that bars them from seeking release on bond from an immigration judge. The text says what it says, regardless of the decisions of prior administrations, the majority opinion stated, rejecting arguments that decades of narrower enforcement limited the government's authority. For years, immigrants who had lived in the U.S. unlawfully for long periods were generally eligible for bond hearings, allowing judges to weigh flight risk and danger to the community. Mandatory detention was largely reserved for recent border crossers and people with certain criminal convictions. However, the Trump administration reversed that approach, asserting that anyone who entered illegally, regardless of how long ago, must remain in custody for the duration of removal proceedings. Under the policy, release is possible only through humanitarian or public interest parole granted by ICE, not by a judge. Critics have argued that the policy has resulted in the prolonged detention of people with no criminal history. The majority opinion was written by Judge Edith Jones and joined by Judge Stuart Kyle Duncan. Both concluded that Congress authorized the government's broad interpretation of detention authority. In dissent, Judge Dana Douglas, a Biden nominee, warned that the ruling ignored historical practice and real-world consequences. She wrote that the majority's reasoning is based on little more than an apparent conviction that Congress must have wanted these non-citizens detained, some of them the spouses, mothers, fathers, and grandparents of American citizens. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem praised the outcome, writing, "For months, activist judges have ordered the release of alien after alien based on the false claim that DHS was breaking the law." She further wrote that the appeals court confirmed DHS was right all along. Attorney General Pam Bondi called the ruling a significant blow against activist judges who have been undermining our efforts to make America safe again at every turn.